I've been back at the Sunrader camper diesel swap. The little OM617 diesel, although little in a lot of applications, it's freaking huge in this little S10. Anybody that's done this swap knows they don't fit very well, but where there's a will, there's a way. So a couple things I haven't had a chance to really show you. The engine mounts, which it's really hard to see. That's the original S10 mount, using the original mount that came on the motor, bolted up, just simply made a little saddle. Did that on both sides. It's real simple. Uses the original S10 mount. My goal with these swaps is always to keep parts as stock as possible so I can get them at any Napa or any auto parts store anywhere. It just keeps it simple. The adapter plate, which when I get a chance I'll take some pictures of the plans and maybe put some numbers up for anybody that's really curious about how to find the centers and what the dimensions are. The oil pan had to be trimmed just slightly on the sides to clear the pitman arm, and same thing on the idler arm on both sides. And I trimmed it at the very back just a hair to clear the center link so that it wouldn't come close. It actually had clearance, but I preferred a little bit more. That said, going back up top, the radiator on this thing, super close. I want to use a mechanical fan. On my Jeep, I have a diesel in there. I run an electric fan with a thermostatic switch. I prefer not to have that. I want this thing to be able to run without any electronics. So this is real close. As you see, got about an inch. The fan clears at the bottom, just barely, with the engine on the proper angle sitting on its mounts. I'll be making my own fan shroud for it. The radiator, if you are familiar with the S10s, used to sit outside of the rad support, sat inside the engine bay. The 2.8 had a huge fan shroud on it, and that allowed to have a ton of room. What I had to do is I moved the rad inside the rad support. It's the stock size rad for the S10. This rad is a 3-core. It was in the camper, so it's a little bit bigger. And it fits when you slide it forward. I used the original rubber mounts. Top and bottom, just had to re-drill the holes. When I build the fan shroud, I'm going to do a little bit better job of tucking it in and keeping it tight. So on the front side, this is an extension. This center section here is removable. I needed this so I could take it out if I needed to, so it simply bolts in. And it's fairly heavy gauge sheet metal, nothing fancy. It wasn't strong to start with. That's going to be my transmission cooler. The original hood latch is all right back in the original position, so that's all stock, so the hood will actually latch. Bit of a pain in the ass on this side. The rad cap has to be accessible, so I'm going to end up, when I make my fan shroud, there'll be a tie-in across the back. The motor itself is going to sit a little bit tall. We're going to have to do a little slight modification on the hood, which in the end it'll look pretty good. That's it. The oil cooler is going to go down underneath at the very bottom behind the bumper. You'll see that in a later video. The transmission on this thing is a TH350, and the goal was to have, once again, a stock transmission. So once it's in place, the tailstock, I used a short tailstock so it matched the TH250. Really hard to see, sorry guys. And the shifting mechanism on this transmission lines up to the exact same spot as the TH250. They're really familiar looking transmissions. In a later video you'll see the fuel lines, coolant lines, oil lines, power steering pump, all that stuff's going to get swapped out. Anyways, stay tuned, and we're going to keep on working on this thing. Hopefully I'll have another update for you soon if you're watching.